got your whole body like this, and he's over the top of your head. That's so much force. Yeah, that may be the hardest anybody's ever been hit in this sport.
Boom! And that's where the head hits the mat.
Mixed martial arts is built on variety.
Wow! He's hurt badly. Look at this punch. Right on the floating rib.
The UFC's Octagon hosts fighters from wrestling, judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and boxing backgrounds, and that diversity produces some of the sport's most spectacular finishes. Among the rarest of these finishes is the slam knockout.
And here's the slam, beginning of the end.
When a fighter lifts and drives their opponent into the canvas with so much force that the impact itself ends the fight.
UFC strawweight champion! Incredible!
According to a video that circulated in 2025, only 15 fights in UFC history have officially ended via slam knockout.
Boom! Brilliant suplex.
This article revisits each of those moments chronologically, examines how they unfolded, and considers why these slam KOs remain such rare gems. A brutal beginning. Frank Shamrock versus Igor Zenovv, UFC 16, 1998. The first official slam knockout in UFC history occurred at UFC 16 on March 13, 1998. Frank Shamrock was defending the light heavyweight title against Igor Zenovv, a Russian who had dominated in extreme fighting. Early in the bout, Zenovv rushed forward. Shamrock shot a double leg, lifted him high, and drove him into the mat. The impact knocked Zenovv unconscious and broke his collarbone.
I think he was going to bring that right hand to bear. That extension with the power punch invites you to shoot. Shamrock full advantage, and he brought him all the way around.
The bout lasted just 22 seconds. The official record lists the result as Shamrock def Zenovv via KO, slam. In the immediate aftermath, Zenovv was stretchered out and never fought again. Shamrock's slam set the template for a type of finish that would remain rarer than spinning heel kick knockouts. Ortiz's title defense. Tito Ortiz versus Evan Tanner, UFC 30, 2001. 3 years passed before the second slam knockout. At UFC 30 in Atlantic City on February 23, 2001, reigning light heavyweight champion Tito Ortiz defended his belt against Evan Tanner. Ortiz, a former college wrestler, clinched early, secured a front headlock, and hoisted Tanner off the ground. As Tanner attempted to post his arm, Ortiz turned and spiked him head-first into the canvas. Tanner lay prone, unconscious, and the referee stopped the fight at 30 seconds of round 1. The results table lists. Ortiz defeated Tanner via KO, slam, at 0:30.
Wow, I don't know if I got that much power. Look at that. He ripped him up and took him all the way down. That was nice.
The slam remained one of Ortiz's signature highlights and underscored how quickly a single grappling exchange could decide a championship fight. The first title change via slam, Matt Hughes versus Carlos Newton, UFC 34, 2001. Later the same year, UFC 34 provided another memorable slam. Welterweight champion Carlos Newton, a skilled submission grappler, faced wrestler Matt Hughes on November 2, 2001. In round 2, Newton trapped Hughes in a triangle choke while perched against the fence. Hughes lifted Newton onto his shoulder and held him aloft. Controversy followed. Hughes later said he momentarily blacked out from the choke, but his instincts caused him to slam Newton to the mat.
Vantage point. Bam! He hit the side of his head.
Yep.
Newton's head hit the canvas and he was knocked unconscious at 1:23 of the second round. The result officially reads, Hughes def Newton by KO, slam, 1:23, round 2. Hughes became welterweight champion, the first time a UFC belt changed hands via a slam KO. The finish also highlighted the potential danger of holding on to submissions when an opponent has the strength to lift and drop you. A freak accident. Folanico Vitali versus Matt Lindland, UFC 43, 2003. Slam knockouts do not always result from one fighter intentionally spiking another. At UFC 43 in June 2003, Olympic silver medalist Matt Lindland, known for his wrestling, faced Falaiko Vitale. Early in the fight, Lindland attempted to lift and dump Vitale. Mid-air, Vitale shifted his weight and both men rotated. Lindland landed awkwardly on his own head and was knocked out. Vitale capitalized, mounting him and forcing the referee to stop the bout. Officially, the record shows that Vitale defeated Lindland by KO, slam, at 1:56 of round 1.
Submissions are Lindland's kryptonite. Oh, anyway, that's bad. He does it. It is all over.
The accidental nature of this slam highlights the fine line between offensive and defensive slams. Poor positioning can make a wrestler slam themselves. Ultimate Fighter upset, Josh Burkman vs. Sam Morgan, TUF2 finale 2005. The fifth slam knockout occurred on the preliminary card of the Ultimate Fighter 2 finale on November 5, 2005. Josh Burkman, a former college football player, met Sam Morgan in a welterweight bout. Immediately after the opening bell, Burkman caught a kick, lifted Morgan, and drove him to the mat.
Takedown, side control, elbows, and KO.
Morgan landed head first and was rendered unconscious. The official results list Burkman def Morgan via KO, slam, round 1, 0-21. Burkman's quick finish foreshadowed the level of athleticism that future seasons of The Ultimate Fighter would bring to the octagon. Gerald Harris's comeback slam, Harris vs. David Branch, UFC 116 2010. After a 5-year drought, fans witnessed the 6th slam KO at UFC 116 on July 3, 2010. Middleweights Gerald Harris and David Branch grappled through 2 rounds. Branch attempted to jump guard in the 3rd, but Harris countered by hoisting him and slamming him onto his back.
Oh, he's out. He is out. It is all over. Wow. What a slam by Gerald Harris.
Branch's head bounced off the canvas and he was knocked out. The UFC results table lists the fight as Harris def Branch via KO, slam, round 3, 235. Harris earned a knockout of the night bonus, and the highlight became a staple on UFC montages.
Look at that. Bang!
Suplex surprise, Rustam Kabilov vs. Vince Pichel, TUF 16 finale 2012. Russian suplex master Rustam Kabilov added to the slam list at the Ultimate Fighter. Team Carwin vs. Team Nelson finale on December 15, 2012. Facing Vince Pichel, Kabilov utilized his Sambo background to deliver a series of belly-to-back suplexes. After 2 slams, Pichel continued, but the 3rd suplex drove him onto the back of his head and shoulders.
And look at the elevation this guy gets.
Kabilov immediately landed punches until the referee intervened at 2:15 of round 1. The official results record, Kabilov defers Pichel via KO, suplex and punches, 2:15, round 1. The sequence showcased how repeated throws can soften an opponent before a final fight-ending slam.
Look at the elevation this guy gets.
Powerful persistence, Dominique Steele vs. Dong Hyun Ma, UFC Fight Night 79, 2015. It would be another 3 years before the next official slam KO. At UFC Fight Night 79 in Seoul on November 28, 2015, American welterweight Dominique Steele faced Dong Hyun Ma, also known as Ma Dong Hyun. Steele wrestled vigorously, attempting takedowns throughout. In round 3, he finally secured a body lock, lifted Ma high and drove him onto the canvas.
Boom! And that's where the head hit the mat.
The slam knocked Ma out cold. The result table reads, Steele def Dong Hyun Ma via KO, slam, 0-27, round 3. The knockout earned Steele a Performance of the Night bonus and served as a rare highlight from an event otherwise remembered for Benson Henderson's move to welterweight. The throw heard around Glasgow, Galore Buffondo vs. Charlie Ward, UFC Fight Night 113 2017. In July 2017, UFC returned to Glasgow. On the preliminary card, British-Congolese striker Galore Buffondo faced Ireland's Charlie Ward. In a wild exchange, Ward closed distance to clinch. Buffondo responded by turning and tossing Ward with an underhook,
He's got the body lock and he's looking to land it, but then Buffondo
sending him head first into the mat. Ward was stunned and Buffondo delivered hammer fists to secure a knockout at 2:10 of round 1. The official record lists Buffondo deferred Ward via KO, throw. A contemporary news report noted that Buffondo tossed Ward on his head and finished with hammer fists, underlining how judo-style sweeps can function like slams when an opponent has no time to brace. Gabriel Benitez's lightning slam. Bonitez versus Humberto Bandenet, UFC Fight Night 129, 2018. On May 19, 2018 in Santiago, Chile, featherweight veteran Gabriel Bonitez fought Peruvian prospect Humberto Bandenet. Within 39 seconds, Bonitez caught a kick, lifted Bandenet, and slammed him violently. The impact knocked Bandenet unconscious. Bonitez followed with a few punches before the referee stopped it. The results page on Mixed Martial Arts states that Bonitez defeated Bandenet by KO, slam punches, 0:39 of round 1. The knockout made Bonitez the first Mexican fighter since Yair Rodriguez to earn a slam KO, and it underscored how catching a kick can create a perfect opportunity for a high-angle slam. A champion dethroned. Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas, UFC 237, 2019. Perhaps the most high-profile slam knockout came at UFC 237 in Rio de Janeiro on May 11, 2019. Strawweight champion Rose Namajunas looked sharp in round 1 against challenger Jessica Andrade, peppering her with jabs and threatening with a Kimura grip. In round 2, Namajunas attempted another Kimura from a whizzer position. Andrade, a powerful former bantamweight, lifted Namajunas high and rotated her away from the fence. Namajunas landed on the back of her head and was knocked unconscious. The official results read,
declaring the winner by knockout and
Jessica Andrade defeated Rose Namajunas via KO slam 2:58 of round 2. The slam crowned Andrade the new strawweight champion and highlighted the danger of pursuing submissions without controlling an opponent's base. The Monkey King arrives, Jordan 2020. In December 2020, 25-year-old newcomer Jordan Levit debuted against veteran Matt Wyman at UFC Vegas 16. Known for his grappling, burst into the canvas. The impact produced an immediate knockout just 22 seconds into the fight. A post-fight article described how Levit picked Wyman up.
Was that the most spectacular knockout of your career?
That is the only knockout of my career.
There you go.
Carried him across the octagon and slammed him headfirst to the canvases, and noted that the slam left Wyman unconscious. Levit celebrated with a post-slam twerk, and later said it was the first time he had separated someone from their senses with a slam. The highlight established Levit as a fighter to watch in the lightweight division. A double dose in Austin. Drakkar Klose and Cody Brundage, UFC on ESPN 52, 2023. The UFC returned to Austin, Texas on December 2, 2023 for UFC on ESPN 52, and fans witnessed an unprecedented 2 slam knockouts on the same card. In the prelims, lightweight Drakkar Klose faced Joe Solecki. Solecki attempted an armbar off his back. Klose hoisted him high and slammed him, producing a first-round knockout.
Going for the armbar. You can't pinch him up and slams him up. He slams him
A recap described how Klose sent the Moody Center into a frenzy with a first-round slam of Joe Solecki. Though the official results are not widely published, contemporary reports call it a slam KO and highlight the reaction.
That was crazy, huh? Oh yeah, it was. Joe. We knew he was a tough guy on the ground, and we worked a lot and not letting him take my back.
Later that night, middleweight Cody Brundage battled unbeaten prospect Zach Reese. While trapped in a triangle choke, Brundage lifted Reese, turned his hips, and spiked him onto the canvas. Reese's head hit the mat. Brundage landed a few punches for good measure, and the fight was stopped at 1:49 of round 1.
As I said earlier, Rampage Jackson, Ricardo Arona picks him up, slams him, let's look. Oh, he hit the side of his head. Side of the head.
A report from Low Kick MMA noted that Brundage delivered a brutal body slam and listed the official result as KO, body slam to ground and pound, at 1:49 of round 1. The article also observed that minutes before Brundage's victory, Drakkar Klose had scored his own slam KO. Another recap emphasized that 2 slam knockouts on one night was history and recorded the result as knockout, slam and punches, round 1, 1:49. The Austin card thus doubled the number of slam KOs in UFC history from 13 to 15 in a matter of hours. The 15th Slam KO, Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama, UFC Vegas 109 2025. The most recent Slam knockout occurred at UFC Vegas 109 on August 9, 2025. Rising bantamweight Elijah Smith faced Japan's Toshiomi Kazama. In the second round, Kazama attempted a triangle choke. Smith lifted him high and executed a high-angle powerbomb reminiscent of Quinton Rampage Jackson's 2004 Pride Slam. The impact knocked Kazama unconscious, and Smith added a quick punch before the referee intervened. A report from Bloody Elbow described how Smith channeled Rampage's power and slammed Kazama into oblivion. The article noted that his finish was just the 15th Slam knockout in UFC history, despite over 7,500 fights. Smith's slam immediately went viral and reintroduced fans to the visceral thrill of a throw deciding an MMA contest. What makes a slam knockout? The common thread in these 15 fights is that the slam was deemed the primary fight-ending blow. In the official records, the method of victory is recorded as KO, slam, or KO, slam, punches. This distinction matters because many fights feature heavy slams that do not end the contest. For example, at UFC 166 in 2013, heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez lifted and slammed challenger Junior Dos Santos late in their trilogy bout, causing a flash knockdown. Velasquez then landed punches until the referee stopped it. The record lists a TKO via slam and punch.
Looking for a guillotine, look at this. Oh, Junior's exhausted. That's it. It's all over!
But because follow-up punches played a significant role, this finish is not usually counted among the slam knockouts. Similarly, Quinton Rampage Jackson's legendary powerbomb of Ricardo Arona in Pride 2004 is often referenced when discussing slams. In that fight, Jackson lifted Arona high and slammed him to the mat, knocking him unconscious instantly. However, because it took place in Pride rather than the UFC, it is not among the official UFC slam knockouts. Nevertheless, these examples illustrate the broader technique and show the fine line between slams that end fights and those that simply damage or demoralize an opponent. Why are slam knockouts rare? Fighters in modern MMA are highly aware of the dangers of being lifted. Defensive techniques have evolved. Grapplers release submissions when their feet leave the ground, post arms to brace for impact, or angle their bodies to reduce force. Athletic commissions also pay attention to potentially dangerous spikes. Referees can warn or stop fighters from performing certain high-angle slams that target the head or neck. Additionally, the octagon floor has some give compared to concrete, which dissipates energy. To generate a knockout, the slamming fighter usually needs to catch the opponent off guard, elevate them fully, and drive them down without giving them time to adjust. The 15 slam knockouts highlight specific scenarios that circumvent these defenses. Many came from catching an opponent during a guard pull or a Kimura attempt. Hughes versus Newton, Andrade versus Namajunas, Brundage versus Reese. Others happened when a fighter used explosive hip throws or suplexes that the opponent was not expecting. Kabilov versus Pichel, Buffondo versus Ward. Some, like Vitale versus Lindland, resulted from an accidental self-knockout, and occasionally a slam may finish a fight due to cumulative wear from previous slams and strikes. Steele versus Ma, Bonitez versus Bandone. The variety underscores the technique's unpredictability. The cultural impact of slam KOs. Despite their rarity, slam knockouts hold a special place in MMA culture. Fans and fighters alike remember where they were when Hughes slammed Newton or Andrade slammed Namajunas. Highlight packages replay these moments for years, and their visceral nature transcends language. The shock value lies partly in the primal imagery of one human lifting another and forcefully returning them to earth. That connection is why the video listing the 15 official slam knockouts generated so much discussion in 2025. Moreover, slam KOs often carry narrative weight. Hughes' slam not only won him the title, but inaugurated a long championship reign. Andrade's slam interrupted Namajunas' dynamic striking display and answered critics who doubted Andrade's technique. In 2023, Brundage's slam was significant because he overcame the threat of a submission and revived his career after a losing streak. Each slam tells a story beyond the violent physics, the enduring allure of the slam. From Frank Shamrock's pioneering throw in 1998 to Elijah Smith's homage to Rampage in 2025, slam knockouts remain among the rarest and most replayed finishes in UFC history. They require a confluence of timing, strength, and circumstance. One fighter must secure a dominant grip while the other commits to a position that leaves them vulnerable. When that happens, the resulting impact is both brutal and beautiful. With only 15 such finishes in more than 3 decades and thousands of fights, each new Slam KO becomes an instant entry into the sport's lore. Future fighters will continue seeking them for highlight reels, but for now, these 15 moments stand as testament to the raw power that underlies mixed martial arts.